Hello and welcome to today's Facecast. Today we're looking at Luke's Gospel. Very good, rich passage. Well, it's all good and rich, isn't it? But this is Jesus talking to his disciples and giving them some advice and guidance, telling them different things. And amongst them, he comes up with a series of woes. Woe, that's a word we don't use very much, isn't it, these days? Woe, W-O-E. Woe means misery or anguish, perhaps despair or distress. And Jesus is calling woe upon people several times. Woe to you, misery, distress, anguish, despair upon you when something happens. What is it that he's concerned about now? Woe to you, he says. This is in Luke chapter 6, verse 26. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for that is how their fathers treated the false prophets. Woe to you when all men speak well of you. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Woe to you when men speak badly of you. Wouldn't that be calamity and distress? Woe to you when all men speak well of you. If you're doing something, saying something, being the kind of person that pleases everybody else by everything that you do, then the chances are you're not pleasing God. Because mankind wants to hear what its ears long for, and that's often a falsehood. Mankind wants to hear you're going to be rich and successful or famous and all the things that we might, humanly speaking, want. And if we tell people those things, we might be preaching a false gospel, just like the false prophets did of old. We can get false prophets today, of course, people who promise all sorts of good and wonderful things, when really we might be in for a difficult time. We've all got to pull our belts in and play our part in overcoming a difficult situation. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for that is how they treated the false prophets. So we've got to be very careful in how we act and how we say and what we believe and what we do. We've got to take account of ourselves and for ourselves. We've got to be self-regulating. In order to do that, we need some kind of set of understanding or rules or guidelines to live by if we're to be self-regulating, in order to employ those rules and guidelines to help us. Where do we find them? Dun, 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 dun. Guess where, folks? In the instruction manual for life, otherwise known as the Bible. We find the instructions of how we should be living, and that gives us a pathway, a pattern through life to follow that helps us to be in the right frame of mind and the right frame of heart for living this life. Woe to you when all men speak well of you. Hang on a minute, what's going on here? I'm getting too many pats on the back. Everything's going fine. There are not enough people arguing with me or disputing with me. Am I about the Lord's work, or am I just trying to please other people? There will be times when people are angry with you and upset at you and argue with you and distressed by you because you're doing the right thing and because you're causing them to think rather than just act out of selfish desire. Popularity isn't all that it's cracked up to be, but it kind of goes against the grain for us not to seek popularity. We have to live with that tension of being popular for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons. It takes a lifetime to figure all that out. Good job we got a lifetime to do it, hasn't it? See you soon. Bye for now.